Hey friends, Ari Koinuma here, and today I want to share with you my thoughts on what makes Toad Sprocket's I Will Not Take These Things for Granted an impactful song. This is off of their Fear album, which is the first album that I heard in mid-90s. I was in college, and this is the closer of that album, and it is such a poignant, powerful song expressing deep and sincere gratitude. And to this day, I can't think of any other song that expresses the idea of thankfulness or gratitude to quite so to this extent. Really, it's an amazing song, and I know it has a special place in Toad Sprocket fans' hearts. So today I want to explain what I see in this song that makes it so poignant and grateful and powerful, right? Emotional, all those words. Anyway, and it's really built into the fundamentals of the songwriting, and the more I learned it, it's pretty brilliant. So I want to share with you what I discovered. So the song starts on this really intimate spare arpeggio. It goes like this. Isn't that a beautiful chord? This is actually this the lowest three notes here. It's he capoed up to second fret, but anyway, it's a A major seventh chord, and major seventh chord is very often used in jazz, but it's just this really nice, smooth, warm, just nice chord, right? It sounds really nice, and then he does a parallel major seventh chord here down on G. It's a little different harmony because he uses the open string here. But anyway, fundamentally, the song starts out sounding again really sort of warm and fuzzy because of this major seventh chord being used, and it just seems like a nice safe space to come clean on something that's very vulnerable to you, doesn't it? It's really very cool. So after the first chorus, the chords go up to concert D here. I will not take these things for granted. I will not take these things. Doesn't that sound really nice and sort of settled, comforting? Again, there are a couple of things going on. The chord-wise, this is we're in the key of A major, and then this is a D, so it's a 4 chord, and then you go from 4 to 1, and then 4, 5, 1. This is like the as traditional as it gets, 4, 5, 1 cadence, and when it comes on, you just feel really nice and subtle. There's no ambiguity here. It's just very, very comforting. The other thing that's comforting about this chorus is that, let's notice. Notice how static that melody is. This is what I call an untuneful melody. It's not that interesting if you play it on an instrument without the words, but what untuneful may sound like it's bad, but it's actually not a bad thing. When it's untuneful, the music itself doesn't hold interest, so you pay attention to the words. And with static notes like this, again, it doubly adds to the feeling of comfort, right? If there's a lot of jumping, that's very unsettling and jarring in some ways, and it grabs your attention. It's a good thing to do in a lot of choruses, but in this case, it's a perfect move to just stay on one note and then just really convey your sentiment. I will not take these things for granted. Really nicely done. Alright, on to the second verse. The second verse is very similar to the first. The fundamental chords are the same, except that we lose the major seventh warm and gooey color there. It goes to straight A to G. And when you do that, the color of the flat 7 chord, which is the G chord here, really comes through. The flat 7 in the major key, I call this a defiant chord, and it has a bit of an attitude. It's a very common chord in a rock and roll song. And if you notice in the words, Glenn is starting to transition from a place of vulnerability to something a little bit more reassuring or uplifting. And I think that's really perfectly expressed in these chords. So here, let me sing this bit here. How can I hold a part of me that only you can carry? It needs a strength I haven't found. But if it's frightening, I better call, and on the telephone you offer warm asylum. Right, so you notice he's talking about strength here, and you know, if it's frightening, I'll bear the cold. You notice this is a man who is no longer vulnerable. He is saying, you know, I'm gonna hold you, right, in the place of weakness. I'm gonna gather strength. And then notice this chord hasn't shown up in this song yet, the F sharp. From there you go to a different key. You go to the key of B major, which is a whole step higher than the original key of A major. And then when you move up the key higher, again, it has a very uplifting effect. So the guys, you know, the character here is going through a transition here, and then he's just really taking it up a notch when you go to the key of B major. I'm listening, flowers in the garden, laughter in the hall, children in the park. I will not take these things for granted. I will not take these things for granted. I will not take these things for granted. I will not take these things anymore. Right, so what happened there is that so he went to B, key of B, and then the I'm listening part it stays in the key of B, but then at the end of it he changes the key again, this time back down to A major. Now when you change the key up, then it sounds uplifting, or the energy of it goes up, and then when you change the key down, then it has a settling effect. You see, so notice he's kind of heightening and bringing it up a notch with this section, and then you know that really signifies the transformation of this character from the point of vulnerability to the strength. And then but then when it comes to, you know, saying I will not take these things for granted, he just brings it back down for reassurance. I mean, isn't that brilliant? I mean, just how this works out. It's really awesome. So from there, the third verse goes through the same harmonic move as the second verse. It does the same thing, you know, going up to B major and then coming back down to A kind of thing. Lyrically, the guy has really moved on to the point of acceptance, so he's really in a nice, secure place there. But one subtle thing that they do with the third chorus is instead of going from D to A like the other times, he goes from D to F sharp minor, the minor 6th chord, which gives a subtle but slightly more tragic bend to this chorus. It's a move that they do in the third phrase of each chorus, but this time the first one does it too, so it has a little bit more sadder vibe to it. And I think they did that because the section that follows this chorus is like the climax of the song, that triumphant arrival, the moment of arrival, right? And then it's just like my favorite moment of the song when Todd busts into this really ascending melody here. It goes like this. and so on and so forth. I just love that riff there. The chorus under that section goes like this. So it's a concert G to concert B minor, and then to concert B, and then A. So it's flat 7, which is the defiant chord, and then goes to minor 2, which is kind of more melancholy chord, and then 4 to 1, which has sort of a happy ending there. This chord progression to me, just again, just as I was describing the chords there, it goes from the resolve to confront loneliness or difficulty or challenges in life, to melancholy, the sadness that comes through the process, to more open, happy place, and resolving at the end. So I just think this chord progression arriving at the end just really expresses just the journey sort of that's happening in this song really well. And although it's a entirely new chord progression, it works under the chorus line, because again the chorus in this song is untuneful and it's using a chord tone that's fairly static. And one of the nice things about static melody is that it can fit with many different kinds of chords underneath it. If there are a lot of notes in a melody, then the melody kind of have to go with chords that sort of fit with the notes in the melody. But then when there's just one note in the melody, it just actually can work with many different kinds of chords underneath it. I will not take these things for granted. I will not take these things for granted. I will not take these things for granted. So notice that he changes the ends of those phrases a little bit to fit the chord that melody happens to be on, but overall that melody can sit nicely with any of these chords. Alright, so today I went through Todd the Sprocket's I Will Not Take These Things for Granted, and just kind of took it piece by piece and sort of uncovered what makes this song so expressive and so full of gratitude. And it's just built into this songwriting, from the basic harmony to how the melody and words and the chords fit together, and the result is just a song that might make you cry if you listen to it in certain mindset. And man, Todd the Sprocket is one of my all-time role models and heroes, and this song is just a great example of why I really admire these guys, and I'm trying to learn the craft of songwriting from these guys. Alright, so I hope you got something useful out of this, and that it gave you some new insights or new things to think about when you listen to this song from here on. And I hope it enhances your enjoyment of this already amazing song. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.